If you're anything like me, you know that crypto gaming is about to explode. You've looked at all the data, you've seen all the statistics, and you know that this sector is going to take over the world and is going to be one of the most used sectors in crypto. Only one problem. You're not a gamer, you're an investor. And because you're not a gamer, you can't tell the difference between a good game and potentially one that's not going to succeed. So you're at a disadvantage. And that's how I feel every single day. Specifically, when I watch videos from people like Elio or Alex Becker, I always wonder how I can build a gaming portfolio that can kind of beat Alex Becker's gaming portfolio. I've always thought that I've been at a disadvantage. Well, that's until today. Because today I'm going to show you how I'm setting up a gaming crypto portfolio that can beat almost anyone's crypto gaming portfolio, even Alex Becker's. So let me show you how I'm going to do it. Let's go, guys. Yes, it's true. I'm going to show you how to build a portfolio today, a crypto gaming portfolio that can beat anyone's gaming portfolio, even Alex Becker's gaming portfolio. That's a guarantee. So stay tuned till the end because today is going to be a massive, massive, massive show. And I know there are a lot of you who are exactly like me. You want to get exposure to crypto gaming, but you don't. You always feel like you're at a disadvantage. And today we're going to end that. So listen, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. There's 1,000,001 reasons to subscribe to the channel, but the biggest reason to subscribe to the channel is because we are building the most profitable community in the world. And in order to qualify for all these amazing things that we're doing, like the banter bags and everything else, you're going to need to be subscribed to the channel. So what are the banter bags? Very simple, very, 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 very simple. We get very early IDO allocations. We take $1,000 of these IDO allocations and we put them into these things called the banter bags. When Crypto Banter gets to 1 million subscribers and Banter Plus gets to 350,000 subscribers, we give away the banter bags to 10 members of our community. Now, I've already selected 2 members, and I could select a third one even today. And I'm going to select 10 by the time we give away the bag. So make sure you subscribe to Banter, make sure you subscribe to Banter Plus, and make sure that you have an exchange account using one of the Crypto Banter links. Because not only will that make you qualify for the banter bags, but it will also help you win an Apple Vision Pro. And we're going to start choosing 7 Apple Vision Pro winners on Monday. So listen, today is a massive, massive, massive show. I want to build this gaming portfolio with you guys. I've got 𝗙𝗏 with us. We're going to build the ultimate gaming portfolio. But before that, I need to just remind you guys that these shows are sponsored by NordVPN. And I know that you guys are crazy airdrop farmers. I've seen a whole lot of you farming airdrops. Guys, you need to be careful because there is a new hack going around that not only drains your wallet, but actually swaps ownership of your wallet at the program level. Like most scams, it relies on phishing. You sign something on an illegitimate website that pretends to be a real entity in the space. Usually it resembles Jupiter or something Saga related, but it can vary immensely. 90% of these sites drain you, but this new hack is actually much worse. It prevents you from accessing or transferring out future items like airdrops. So it basically takes control of your wallet. Upon signing, the phishing program reassigns wallet ownership to a smart contract, which effectively locks you out of your own wallet, and you're left completely hopeless. Now, a lot of people have actually fallen for this, including someone who's fallen for this in our office. I'm going to give you 2 pieces of advice. The first piece of advice is get yourself a VPN because it protects you when you're navigating crypto and it makes sure that you're surfing anonymously. You're not exposing your IP address, you're not exposing your location to service providers and to governments. That will cost you $3 a month, or just less than $3 a month. The next thing that you have to do is get the second thing, which is called Nord Threat Protection, because this is the site that blocks these malicious websites. Now here again, I think you pay $3.99 a month, you save 63%, but it would have flagged this site. If you're planning on making life-changing money in this bull market, the most important thing is to keep it and not to get hacked or to fall into something crazy like this. And so I think, guys, support the channel and get yourselves a NordVPN. Do it today. There's a link below. Get it done. The second thing that I would do is I would watch Crypto Banter this weekend because we've got a new host starting on the channel. His name is 𝗙𝗏𝗏. And what he tried to do was he tried to find scammers in our community. And he tried his hardest to get scammed. And boy, oh boy, you should see how innovative these scammers actually are. And he actually breaks it down. So look out for this weekend. There's a video coming out from 𝗙𝗏𝗏. And that will be his introduction to the channel. And let me know if you guys love him. And if you love him, we'll keep him on the channel. Anyway, let's get on with the show. If you haven't already, smash the like button, destroy the like button. We are talking about crypto gaming today. And I think crypto gaming was a very, very, very hot narrative in the last cycle. And it went all the way up and it came all the way back down. In fact, when it went all the way up, the game that led it was a game called 𝗙𝗡𝗏𝗡. And if you look at 𝗙𝗡𝗏𝗡, at its peak, 𝗙𝗡𝗏𝗡, one single game had a market cap of $10 billion. And it was like the beginning of the play to earn market. And everybody thought that this game or this industry would take over the crypto gaming by storm. Problem is that it went down and it completely crashed. And with it, so did the entire crypto gaming sector. And the reason why this crypto gaming sector crashed is because people had crazy expectations. They had crazy expectations. They thought that we would get one of the biggest games in the world and we would get this game in the last cycle. But that's a crazy expectation because building a good game takes time and it costs a lot of money. And yes, over the past couple of years, a lot of money has been invested into crypto gaming. The result is that now all this investment of this $11 billion and maybe even this $15 billion that was invested in crypto gaming is starting to come onto the market. And so I saw this tweet from Elio. He says, I don't think people realize the insane quality of teams coming to crypto gaming. I'm seeing deals every day that would have been earth-shaking 2 years ago. This is not minor league anymore. The inflection point is coming. We've had 2, 3, 4 years to build the amazing crypto games. They're starting to come onto the market. We've had 2 big launches on the market this week. We had Pixels coming out. It's now trading at a fully diluted valuation of $2.6 billion. And about 2 weeks ago, we had Heroes of Mavia, which is now trading at a $2 billion fully diluted valuation. Both of these games have got a lot of users, and we're starting to break into mainstream. And that's what this cycle is going to be about. This cycle is going to be about crypto gaming breaking into mainstream and crypto gaming potentially leading the crypto bull market this time round. You can see it in the numbers. If you go to Banter Bubbles and you filter, I'll show you guys how to do it. You just go filter, you go to GameFi over here, and you look at let's look at the monthly, or in fact, let's look at the monthly. Look at how green the bubbles are for crypto gaming this month. You've had Beam up 100%. You've had all these tokens up. Monkey Ball up 100%. You had Pixel Games up 200%. You've got Zi blockchain up 95%. Crypto gaming is about to explode. Only thing is, if you're anything like me, you want to get exposure to gaming because you know gaming is going to explode. But the problem is you're not a gamer. You don't play these games and you don't know what the good games are and what the bad games are. That's how I feel every single day. I'm not a gamer, but I know gaming is going to explode. That is why we have our man 𝗙𝗧 in the house. And as I said before, this is the smartest guy in gaming in the world because he's a born gamer and then he's an investor after that. You mix hustle and run together and you get a killer portfolio, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We're building the ultimate gaming portfolio live with you guys. We're going to drop a spreadsheet for you guys with my portfolio and 𝗙𝗧's portfolio. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Mr. 𝗙𝗧, the love muscle, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Rand. Long time no talk here officially on the shows. I'm excited to dive in. Gaming's been hot, so it should be a good one.
Bro, you must be so rich. It must be crazy. You must be driving a Lambo, much nicer than Sheldon's Lambo, that's for sure. No, wait, Sheldon's not a Lambo. What is it, sir? A Maserati. Sheldon's got a Maserati now.
Okay, got it. Yeah, no, the last 4 months have been fruitful. Let's just say that.
It's only about to get more and more fruitful, not only for you, sir, but also for the whole community, especially after today's show. So, 𝗙𝗧, the idea behind today's show is to build the ultimate gaming portfolio, a portfolio which we can hold we buy it now, hold it for the next 497 days, sell it in 497 days, retire filthy fucking rich. That's the objective behind today. There's no frills, no mess, no fuss. We're going to get straight into it. Basically, what I've done is the following. I've created a spreadsheet because the community loves spreadsheets. Now that's your screen, but let me go to our screen. So that's a spreadsheet. I've broken up the gaming world into a couple of narratives. I've broken it up into base layer because you need a gaming base layer. Then I've said there's like gaming infrastructure that you need. Then you need gaming studios. Then you need actual games and gaming ecosystems. And then if you want to get into all of this, you need launch pads. And then I've left like one bonus section, which is previous cycles gems that are neglected and may actually come back. So the idea is to populate this spreadsheet and talk about all the picks that we've made and then allocate into our portfolio. Now you can see that I've allocated 100% of the money, and so has 𝗙𝗧 allocated 100% of his money. You cool with that, Mr. 𝗙𝗧?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Let's dive in.
All right, let's go. Let's start off with the base layer. So we do know that in order for these games to run, they've got to run on some kind of blockchain. There are a lot of bets on the base layers that these games are going to run on. So I'll remind you that initially they all ran on ETH. Then it became very expensive. They all went to ETH layer 2. Then Avalanche launched their subnets. Then Solana launched their very fast transactions. Then Beam launched as a subnet on Avalanche. Now we've got a whole lot of other ones. Let's look at the landscape when it comes to these base layers. And let's allocate money into these base layers. Now, for me, this is the biggest part of my allocation because for me, this is the safest bet. I wonder if it's going to be the same for you. So let's go into it. Let's have a look. So these are the layer ones that we've got. We've got Solana, Avalanche, 𝗎𝗓𝗓𝗓, Beam, Matic, Ronin, which is the blockchain that was created by the company that probably started the NFT craze, which is called Dapper Labs. And then you got like the new kid on the block, which is 𝗧, which is called a layer 3 because it's a layer 2 on Arbitrum, which is a layer 2 on Ethereum. Tell me about which ones you like here, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I'm looking across the board at like gaming infrastructure, basically not infrastructure, the blockchains as they run on, I'm a huge fan. I think Solana has to be included. I think Avalanche has to be included. There's so many games and companies that are flocking to Avalanche because of their own subnets. So Avalanche has their own blockchain and they're just empowering these games to build with that layer, which I absolutely love. I think Beam is a sleeper. I think Beam is the one here that for a lot of people, it'll be like the one they haven't heard of amongst IMX, Avalanche, Solana, all these bigger names. They're going to be like, what is Beam? But Beam is also kind of underneath the Avalanche narrative, but they're bringing on lots of quality games to their product. And then, I mean, I think IMX and Ronin are no-brainers in your portfolio. So that's kind of the way I see it at the moment. And the race for the top gaming chain is going to heat up here throughout 2024.
Well, let's look at, we spoke about Beam. So Beam is Merit Circle's open source project. There was a token swap. I think you could swap your Merit Circle tokens for Beam tokens. It is a subnet on Avalanche. It is a very promising gaming infrastructure subnet on Avalanche. Then you got Avalanche itself. Now, generally in my portfolio, I haven't really allocated money into Avalanche, but if I'm going gaming crazy, I'm allocating into Avalanche. Both of us never allocated anything into Matic. So what is your logic not allocating into Matic?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because right behind me, there's actually there's a Matic pillow hidden back there. And ever since they partnered up with IMX, I feel like you're capturing both with just investing in IMX. So they have like the Polygon IMX ZK EVM that they're really like pushing hard. I think that's the way you can get exposure to Matic. But at the same time, IMX is that strictly gaming coin. Like it's that one coin at the top 25 of the charts that if you want exposure, IMX is probably the one you're going to roll with for like pretty high upside, low downside. And I just think it's a way to get secondhand exposure to Polygon.
All right. So, I mean, the biggest winner here for me is definitely IMX. I've spent time with Robbie. I know you have too. And these guys are attracting games onto their blockchain like crazy. I don't think that anybody's got as many games as they have. I mean, let's just see. I think there's a 𝗙𝗎𝗪, which I think we can try and open, which shows the gaming infrastructure. So definitely looking forward to IMX's Passport plus game launches. They're talking about a whole lot of different game launches. For me, this is my biggest bet in gaming infrastructure. Also, I think that there's going to be some good news on the tokenomics coming out soon. Let's just leave it at that. I can't say too much more, but I think my little birdies have told me that there may be some good things here. The fully diluted valuation of IMX, I think above $4 billion. That's the only thing here that actually scares me, but let's have a look at it. It's definitely been the darling of the cycle already. $6 billion, $6 billion. That's quite a high valuation, but I suppose when you put it next to Solana and Avalanche, okay, not that high. The one we haven't spoken about is 𝗥𝗡𝗧. Tell me, are you not a fan of 𝗧? It's built by the same bunch of people that built Arbitrum, and they built it off they built a gaming chain on top of Arbitrum. It's a much lower market cap coin. Let's quickly just go look at the fully diluted market cap. Are you not bullish on 𝗧?
I am bullish on 𝗧. Whenever you look at my other allocations, I'm spreading my bets very equally across IMX, Ronin, Solana, Beam. I'm going 8% into each of those because, and the reason I'm also going to keep it even keel, I think Beam at a little bit lower market cap could do a little more like X's than maybe an IMX could, but I have confidence in all of them very much the same. And especially with like Ronin. Ronin is like the darling, I think, of all of these because they had 𝗙𝗓𝗓. They have currently Pixel, which just launched at like a $3 billion fully diluted valuation. They have the most activity when it comes to strictly gaming on these projects. But XAI is so new to me that I'm allocating 4%, and with the ability in the future to maybe, you know, take some profits elsewhere and maybe rotate it into 𝗙, but it's just so new. I need to see more from the product.
You've sold me on Ronin, so I'm going to add 5% here on Ronin, and I'm actually not 105% allocated, so I'm going to have to cut. So what I'm going to do, because this is a gaming portfolio only, I'm going to cut my Solana position because Solana is a general bet for me, and I'm going to cut my Avalanche position as well to 5%. So this is how I'm going to get back to 100%. I've still got 37.5% in L1s. Let's move on.
We might be rotating throughout the show.
Yeah,
and Ren, I actually had a question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
So IMX sitting at 21 right now. So we were talking about, you know, its market cap. Right above it, you have Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, DAI, Shiba, and then ICP. That's where it gets tricky to me. Do you think IMX could climb into the top 15 realistically?
I think IMX is in price discovery. I think that the category of IMX, which is an L2 of gaming, people that are gaming obsessed, and say what you want about any gaming team here. There's no gaming team in the world like the IMX team. Like, let's just call a spade here. All the other ones are great, but there's no team that is as obsessed with gaming as the guys from IMX. So to answer your question, can it go higher? Look, I'm worried about it. I'm worried about the valuation here, but I've been worried about the valuation since 3 billion also, and it's just doubled. So I don't know. To me, that's the biggest bet here. I may be completely wrong, which is why I've hedged myself and I've got Solana. I mean, I wonder if I should maybe do this just to be, you've sold me now on the, so maybe just do this and then put 7.5% and then just, and again, only on valuation. And then, you know, with Solana and Avalanche, even if gaming doesn't work or none of the games work, I still get a bet on DeFi and I get a bet on other stuff. So that's kind of like my protection. I'm not very horny for Matic. I think both of us aren't. And I think we pretty much agree-ish here. Interestingly, you've got a lot more allocated to the base layers than I do in your whole portfolio, but let's go to the rest of the portfolio and then make a call there. So the next part is infrastructure. So I'm going to quickly just highlight this like that. So when it comes to infrastructure, it's everything that's not the layer one. And I think what I've done here, let's quickly unhide these cells. The tokens that we got here are Super, Engine, Flow, Arjuna, and Render. We both allocated very, very well into Superfarm. And it's interesting because for me, the decision to allocate into Superfarm came from their rebranding to Superverse. And what I said here was, I said, like, it seems to me like I don't know what they're going to do, but I do believe that 𝗙𝗑𝗑 somehow is going to unite the gaming ecosystem, whether it's through a currency, whether it's through a blockchain. I think he's the glue. I think he could be the glue. And that's the bet for me. And obviously, I've been long Super for a long time, as I believe you have too. Let's look at the other ones that we've both got. So, Super, you got 6, I got 5. Engine, I got 5% in Engine just because I think it's a great ecosystem for games, and we both got 7.5% into Render. I got 7.5%. You got 4% into Render. What about Flow and Arjuna?
Whenever I look at like the gaming space specifically, they're just not the coins that like I'm going to prioritize, especially on this list, because like there's a lot of good projects, especially once we get down to the bottom and there's some tokens that, you know, individual games, the studios, I just can't over allocate and spread myself too thin on certain things. And I'm just going to lock in on things that I like. You know, I like to see the games building on these chains. I like to see the studios linking up and like bringing out more games and having more parts of their ecosystem. Super adding utility to the token, partnering up with all these chains, and Super is going to be integrated. They announced into My Pet Hooligan. So like that's the type of stuff I'm looking for, and I'm just not seeing it as much from those projects as I am something like a Super or like we said before, like the IMXs, the Beams, etc.
It's amazing that Render is a gaming token. It's a metaverse token. It is
AI.
it's an AI token. It is a crazy token. Actually, speaking of metaverse, I got a message from my friends at Victoria VR who were originally building a metaverse, and it seems like, I mean, they jumped onto this Apple virtual Vision Pro narrative, and now what I hear, and it's a rumor at this stage, is that they're actually launching a tournament for this game of theirs. It's called CQB Arena, and it's a shooting game. I think it's a first-person shooting game, and they're launching a tournament. And remember, to play the tournament, you got to have your Oculus, and you got to, it's all in a VR experience. This is what it looks like. I can't confirm if there's a tournament, but this is what I'm hearing. Have you heard anything about this?
No, I know that they've been doing some work behind the scenes, not like a rebrand, but kind of revamping their offerings. So as far as like VR goes, this does look pretty solid. So that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, and also these are the only guys that, as far as I know, have integrated into Apple's Vision Pro. The crypto guys that have integrated into Apple's Vision Pro. So let's keep an eye out open for that one. Let's go back. So the next part of it's, for me, very interesting, because I don't know anything about games. I've got to be honest. Like, I don't know anything about the games. And so for me, naturally, I thought, let me take bigger bets on the studios, because, studios can do multiple games. But then when I actually got down to the games, what you'll realize is that I actually landed up allocating more to the game. So look at this. I allocated 22.5% to the games and 17.5% to the studio. So let's quickly get into that. And I'd love to see yours versus mine. So here it is. We both allocated into Nakamoto games. You allocated more into Mavia than I did. We'll talk about that in a second. And then I allocated into Uncaged and into Player Bull or Player whatever. I don't know what you call it. I don't think you allocated into any of those. Tell me why you chose Naka.
So I like Naka. It's just got a narrative behind it. I'm going to be completely honest. The games aren't really great if I'm just going to be completely like transparent. But a lot of the time, hype trumps a lot of things in the space currently. And whenever you look at the hype that Nakamoto Games has had, I mean, it's had one of the craziest runs in the bear, and I think it's going to do well in the bull. But I allocated a little less just because I really don't believe in the product as much as others. And I see that Playable was added here. So I might do some switching around like you did earlier as well.
So you can add whatever you want. By the way, you can keep adding whatever you want. The idea here is to build the ultimate gaming portfolio. Naka Games, 321 million fully diluted. Let's actually go to player and look at players fully diluted. There we go. Let's have a look here. So it's got a fully diluted 37 million. You see, there's a lot of upside in this token. That's why I went quite big on player. Do you want to reallocate, sir? The allocations are not closed.
Yeah. I'm gonna switch around some allocations. Let's just I'll just call it how it is. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put. And Naka had a huge run already. So I'm going to go to 1% on Naka. I'm going to take Render down 1% just because it's not strictly a gaming coin. It just has a little more to it. And it's in my broader scale portfolio, I'd probably allocate more. So I'm going to at least put a couple percentage into Playable games. And that was one of the gems that we called out in the gaming run that really popped off. So how could I not have it in my portfolio?
And the other one, which I'm bullish on, but I take it that you're not bullish on, because I've asked you on it a few times, is Uncaged. They're finally launching their game. They a very, very, very strong dev team. It's the first of many games that they're launching. So I've put 5% into the thing, and they're a very well-funded team as well. You're not bullish on it. Like you haven't. It hasn't bitten you.
I've been seeing what they're doing, obviously, and they're a sponsor over on my show currently, and I've kind of seen now a little more up close what's going on. I have to say it's pretty impressive, especially the stuff that they've been through, the ups and downs, the bull and the bear. I'm excited for what's to come and the revamp, moving towards more of a studio model, etc. So no, truly, I think they're doing some good stuff over there.
Yeah, and again, the reason why I love Uncaged. So let's just look at the fully diluted market cap here. This is where. For me, this is where you're talking about a gaming infrastructure, and the fully diluted market cap is $50 million. That's where I think there's upside here. And remember, with gaming, I want to get the upside. So that's why I've gone quite heavy into that. Let's go into
Ran. Both of us are missing Gala Games. It's an interesting one.
Ooh. You know what? The reason why I left it out was because there was controversy and there was court cases, and when those things happen for me, I kind of I prefer to leave it alone, and I prefer to stay. So many good opportunities. Stay away from the ones with mess. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, and honestly, I don't like their messaging to their outward community. They're very much like, don't invest in our token for profit. You're not here to ROI on our ecosystem. And then they're trying to do their messaging. They're just not very crypto. They're suits.
Nah, I'm out.
Operating
I'm
a crypto project. I'm out. Yeah, I'm with you.
What about what about 𝗙𝗓𝗏𝗡 Labs or what about Mythical Games? I mean, anything that's interests you here?
I think Mythical's good, but the difference between the circulating and the diluted is pretty heavy. At last I checked, the fully diluted was a few hundred million, and the circulating's pretty
what's the right
non-existent.
What's the right ticker symbol?
Mythos.
There we go. So let's have a look here. So so there's 1 billion max. The fully diluted is 266. That doesn't give you the actual market cap. Doesn't give you the circulating supply here. So it's a bit of a problem. So we can't really check it out here. Maybe we can check it out on CoinMarketCap. So let's look quickly at CoinMarketCap. And
I got you here.
All right. So let me just switch the screen.
You want to just flip to my screen quickly? So Mythos, as you see, 4.6 million circulating versus 266. It's definitely. I don't know that this is the investment vehicle to go with. You know what I mean?
I agree. Tokenomics are super important, guys. Tokenomics are super important. If there is a small circulating supply and a high FDV, when they release the tokens into the market, when the team start getting their tokens and they start releasing tokens into the market, it's basically like inflation, and you start losing money like inflation. So that's a big sign to stay away from a token like that. I think 𝗙𝗧𝗹, well done for calling that out, protecting the community. All right, let's go into games. Now, disclaimer, we've had two amazing games launch in the last couple of days. We've had Heroes of Mavia launch, which, what a game. And Pixels, which is also unbelievable. Pixels has a fully diluted valuation of, I think it was $3 billion. Let's just quickly look at it.
It's around there, yeah.
I mean, I don't know, 𝗙𝗧𝗹, when I hear $3 billion for a game, I think is it PIXL or Pixels? It's
just Pixel. Yeah, it's that one.
So $3 billion fully diluted, and Mavia, which is another great game, 1.8 billion fully diluted. Those are two scary numbers. So let me show you how I allocated, and let's have a look at how you allocated. Here it is. There we go. So that is the allocation. You put money into Pixels. I said, at that valuation, I'm too scared, bro. I was just too scared.
So the way I'm playing it is 𝗙𝗂 from 𝗥𝗡𝗃, and the CEO of Ronin, CEO of 𝗥𝗡𝗃 Infinity. He basically said that this is their main priority aside from 𝗥𝗡𝗃 Infinity is Pixels. And it's not an in-house game. They came and migrated to Ronin, but he said they're going to put as much emphasis on growing this as they did 𝗥𝗡𝗃. And when I'm looking at a couple of these games, I definitely went a little heavier into a few of the individual ones, but it's because when you look at this, the infrastructure, the studios, the blockchains, you don't need, we allocated heavier there because it's more of you had it listed as a base layer. It's a base layer of our portfolio with lower downside, but great upside. So I'm going to allocate in a few games that I have a lot of conviction in. And honestly, most of these here on this list are still the ones that I think could capture that mainstream audience and be the ones to get to those 𝗥𝗡𝗃 Infinity style valuations this cycle. So that's why I'm allocating into a few of these how I have.
So I agree. So I think the only difference is I didn't allocate into Pixels, but I think, yeah, I may allocate later. We both allocated into Shrapnel. Great shooter, a great first person shooter game. Illuvium, both of us allocated. Prime, you allocated 6%. What is it about Prime that you like so much?
Oh, I mean, this one, I think, so when you're talking, Pixels has the 𝗥𝗡𝗃 Infinity support, but so far, the way that it's gone from its growth, Prime has been the token that is closest to be like, it might be the 𝗙𝗍𝗋 of this run. It started off at a couple 100 million market cap on the fully diluted. Now it's closer to that 1.5 billion fully diluted. What I like about this, it's going to be integrated in multiple games, and they have an AI game coming up on top of their trading card game. So they have the best card game in Web3 by far. Like the sentiment this summer was everyone was playing this game. It's called Parallel, but the new game is Colony. So I think when that comes out, it's an AI game combined with the gaming narrative. You've seen what's happening right now. NVIDIA's pumping all these AI coins basically. So it's an interesting narrative. When that combines, I think the AI token people are going to flock over to Prime as like an overlapping play. And then vice versa, the gaming can have exposure to AI the same way.
Okay. Oof, you're making me get some FOMO here. 𝗙𝗧𝗪, tell me why you have not allocated any money into what I think is the best game. This is the game that I understand. I'm not a gamer, but I understand Crown. I understand buying NFTs of horse racing, and they've made it so realistic. I mean, it is the whole experience is so realistic. You buy the NFT of the horse, you race it. It's very, very, very exciting. This is like my biggest bet. This was like, of all the games, this is the one where I have the most conviction.
So when I did my list yesterday, these weren't listed, so I just was going to leave it, but I'm heavy on Crown and Honeyland. So here I go with trimming the bags again. Hang on a second.
That's good. I mean, this is great because the community goes through this all the time. Like they want everything and they've got to learn. So what are you cutting, sir? What are you cutting? I mean, you're welcome to cut anywhere. I love Crown.
Honest.
I love Honeyland. I think I've got some. I think I may have some gameplay of Honeyland somewhere here. Let's just have a look here. Oh man, I don't have it here. I think I had it, but it's gone. The YouTube has already run too far. But I had some great Honeyland. But like for me, this is one of the best gameplay experiences. And 𝗙𝗎𝗓𝗓 as well. I don't know how you feel about the additions, Crown, Honeyland, and 𝗙𝗎𝗓𝗓.
I love Crown and Honeyland, and I am going to allocate there. And honestly, on the spot here, because yesterday I was waiting on a vote to come through in the Magic ecosystem. As you can see, that's where I'm highlighted here. I really was hoping that they moved to Optimism from Arbitrum. And there's some reasonings behind that, but the DAO voted that they stay with Arbitrum. I personally think 𝗙 is going to be the bigger play in Arbitrum because that's where they're kind of building on. So I'm going to bump my allocation for Magic down to 1%, unfortunately. So I'm going to go 1%.
Just go to 0 and just allocate it all to Crown and Honeyland. I mean, what do you need to put 1%?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I'm going to go 2% into Crown and 2% into Honeyland. And then I'm going to call it a day because I am very bullish. And on top of that, think of the narrative, Ran. There's not been a horse racing game in the past that's actually partnered with the Kentucky Derby. Kentucky Derby is just a couple of short months away. There could be a narrative around that. I'm just saying.
I'm still buying here. I'm buying like crazy. I think this is the winner for me. This is the game of all the games. This is the one that I have the most conviction on. It's the one that I understand, and I think everybody understands it. Whether you're a gamer or not a gamer, you understand horse betting, and specifically when it's tied up to real world horses, and that's I think where it is. 𝗙𝗎𝗓𝗓. Why are you not that bullish about 𝗙𝗎𝗓𝗓, or are you and you just ran out of allocations?
Yeah, it's like I got to pick and choose my bets throughout here, and as far as individual games go, I'm in Mavia, Pixels, Shrap, ILV, Prime. Miri is like kind of like a hybrid because it gets exposure to their games. Crown, Honeyland. I'm making a lot of bets across the board here. You know what I'm saying? And you are too, though, in the games. I got to give you props. In previous time periods, I feel like you were way heavier on, studios and stuff, but you were a little more shy to get into games. But it looks like your risk appetite's opened up to individual games.
It's a function of a couple of things. Number one, I think that in the previous market, none of the games were this developed. And I think now that the games are actually developed and I can actually see it and I can touch it. I mean, when I look at a game like Mavia, when I look at the game, I understand it. I can see it. Like I get it. When I look at other games like Honeyland, I can see it. I understand it. In the previous bull run, we didn't have that. And that's why I was always very skeptical. Now there's much more product market fit. All right. If you want to get into all these tokens, you need to get into launch pads. For me, small allocation into launchpads, 5%. I see for you also 5% into launchpads. For me, 2 launchpads. You've gone all in on 𝗙𝗪𝗡. I've gone in 𝗙𝗪𝗡 and 𝗬𝗡. 𝗬𝗡 is the newer launchpad. 𝗙𝗪𝗡's got lots of amazing games coming out. They got a proven track record. 𝗬𝗡 for me is the new one. Paid is another one which is good, but it's not like gaming focused, which is why I kind of left it off my list. You said that you're not investing in bytes, but there's a disclaimer.
Yeah, so I do want to preface this. If I'm just building a base level gaming portfolio, I wouldn't include bytes into that. However, I also hold a 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 citizen and an S2. So what of that I can stake and I can earn bytes without having to invest. And so I have a different avenue to it, right? So like for someone who's involved, but here's the thing. If you want exposure to 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃, but the price point is out of range, which for a lot of people, those 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀s are pretty expensive, it is a good way to be able to kind of get that secondhand price appreciation. Whenever 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀 moves, bytes seems to move the same. So if you don't have the capital to get into 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀, bytes could be worth 1.5% just to kind of take a risk and have that association when Becker and Elio are really pushing out 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀 updates. Bytes typically does well.
Okay, so I think we both agree on 𝗙𝗪𝗡. I'm going 𝗬𝗡. You're staying 𝗙𝗪𝗡 because you're a 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀 citizen. Let's go into a category which you allocated to and I'm not allocating anything to. You allocated 11% of your tokens to. I allocated 0. I don't like previous cycle gems. If they haven't delivered by this cycle, I'm out. And I'm going into the new shiny object. You put 11% of your money into previous cycle gems that you believe are neglected. Let's take a look at what they are.
I think over half of them are in one token though. So I think we'll get there. Go ahead.
All right, but before we get there, I know you guys launched a Discord, which is only for people that are gamers. Tell me a little bit about what's in the game in the Discord. And guys, by the way, if you want to check it out, there is a link below. It's 𝗙𝗪𝗡's gaming Discord. It's only gaming calls. 𝗙𝗪𝗡, what can we expect to find there?
Yeah, we've already put out some winning signals, winning trades. We have a lot of information every day, daily watch list, games that I'm looking out for. We got in there. We play different games. We have alliances in Heroes of Mavia. We're like in the game Discord. We're all in there grinding together. And then on top of that, we collaborated with the sniper team and Dylan. He's throwing charts in there, which I'm good at picking the gems. I'm good at, making those accumulations and letting them play out. But what the charts bring to the table is this a good entry? Is this the time period? Is it overbought, oversold, etc.? So it really brings that one side, like the TA, that I don't. So it's really an all-around Discord server where I have all the gaming alpha, and then we get the charts, which kind of verify our conviction. And when we enter these things alongside signals, portfolio, all that good stuff.
And the little birdie told me that you guys are going to start doing IDO allocations there's going to be an IDO channel there, and there's going to be allocations for our community. So guys, if you want it, there's a link below, click it. I think that the number of members is limited, so go and check it out. And when it gets full, it gets full. Then you have to wait for someone to die. And that's the problem, because people aren't dying these days. That's the problem. All right, let's go back. Let's go into previous cycle gems that are neglected. 𝗙𝗪𝗡 allocated 11% of his cash. I basically said, if you didn't deliver in the last cycle, you're not my friend anymore. By the way, in the comments, let me know what you decided. You put 1% into Ultra, you put 4% into Altura, and you put, Vulcan Forged is one that I kind of like. You put 6% into Vulcan Forged. Tell me your thinking here.
Yeah, for sure. Ultra, I just still have conviction in it. And there's one thing in their ecosystem that gives me a lot of, I would just say like a big bullish narrative heading into this next cycle. They're building out a first-person shooter called Project Citadel. It looks fantastic. So I think what they've lacked so far, I'll just kind of give my reasoning for these three quick. What they've lacked so far is the one game that people go and download Ultra for. Right? Because a lot of the games you can actually get on other launchers, but this game is exclusive. It's built in-house by the team. So I think that this is one I'm looking out for, and I have to allocate a little bit because I think it could be what drives traffic there. Altura, I mean, I just think back in the 2021 bull market, I'm going to be honest, it was like a Becker token. He loved Altura. That thing pumped up to like 44 cents. Currently sitting around 8 cents. It's around a 50 million market cap. It's been on the move quite nicely, and they've really increased their quality of product. They're teaming up with a lot of different games. I'm hearing conversations that they might be partnering up with some of our base layers that are up listed at the top of the portfolio. So I think if that happens, it's definitely one that I want to have exposure to, and I do have exposure to. And then last but not least, Vulcan Forged. Although they were a last cycle token, they're still, I mean, you could just see the updates coming through the door every single day. They have their own layer 1 blockchain. They're bringing in way better games now. So one thing that they had in the last cycle was a lot of criticism on the quality of their games. And if you ask Jamie, the CEO, he would tell you the games weren't up to par, but they've really upped their quality coming to the chain and coming to their product. So I'm excited about PYR. And then on top of that, they're launching their own launch pad for in-house 𝗙𝗎𝗋 blockchain products.
You've sold me. I've allocated 2.5%. I've allocated 2.5%. So we are now both fully allocated. But before I let you go, 𝗙𝗡, is there any other gaming token, gaming play that's not on the list that you think maybe should be on the list?
Well, I think what we need to do, Rand, is give a disclaimer to some of the upcoming stuff, because we just saw the launch of Pixel and Mavia, and I'm just going to make sure everyone knows not every token is going to do those numbers. And if anything, those are going to be rarities after launch. Like, we haven't seen Pixel move from that 50-cent range too much yet. So we don't know how that's going to play out yet. Mavia, it launched pretty high, and then it went up to $10. Now, that was pretty unprecedented. And we're about to see coins like Portal hit the market. We're about to see Aether Games, which looks very strong. We're going to see Guns, the Gunzilla off the grid token, which in my opinion is the best crypto game we're going to see to date whenever it comes out. But I just want to, there's going to be a lot of money that flows into those early. That's where launch pads come in handy. But just be careful. You're going to need to watch those valuations and see what the diluted is versus the circulating, because Mavia and Pixel, I think, are rare examples of like shining stars, great games, great ecosystems, great rollouts, but not every token's going to go that way. And pay attention to those market caps and understand when those unlocks are. And that's how you can play it on these new launches. Because like you said, the shiny objects are what people want to gravitate towards. So just be careful whenever they launch. Do your research, look at those unlock schedules, and be prepared for whatever happens.
All right, so guys, here it is. There's 𝗙𝗡's portfolio. There's Run's gaming portfolio. The good news is that we are going to make them into bundles on Swissborg, which means that with one touch of a button, you'll be able to buy all of those tokens. We also published a spreadsheet. There is a link in the description below if you guys want the spreadsheet. And we'll keep updating the spreadsheet as things happen. 𝗙𝗡, we started the show by saying that the objective of the show was to beat Alex Becker. And that's also the thumbnail, as you can see. Now, the question is, I'm asking you before you go, do you think that this portfolio can beat Alex Becker?
So I genuinely believe that, first of all, I think a lot of the projects are overlapping. But number two, Becker's in a lot of projects, and we definitely allocated pretty heavy here. But I think higher size, heavier conviction, I think that's the way you're going to win on certain bets that you know are quality and you think are going to pull through. So personally speaking, like I think we built some pretty solid portfolios here that could outperform most gaming portfolios, but that's just my opinion.
I think we're going to beat Becker, but let's see. Only time will tell. I mean, we're both friends with Becker, so I guess it's all in friendly competition. We just want everyone to be rich and everyone to make money. And guys, speaking of being rich and speaking of making money, remember, if you want to win a Bitcoin, just go to Banter Bubbles. Remember to check out the newsroom because there's news dropping here every second. Click this button over here. Guess the price of Bitcoin on the 15th of May. If you are the closest guess, you're going to win the Bitcoin. You have to have a Crypto Banter exchange account. By the way, there's links below. If you don't already have an account, sign up with Bybit, BitGet, OKX, or even Evo, which is the decentralized exchange. And if you sign up with all these, not only can you win a Bitcoin, but you can also win an Apple Vision Pro. So, 𝗙𝗡, my man, love you madly, sir. It's been amazing getting you, and especially on a Friday banter. What a fucking treat. What a way to go into the weekend. I'll see you again soon, my friend. Well, I speak to you almost every day, but I'll see you again soon. To the Banter fam, love you guys. I will see you guys on the weekend. I'm doing an amazing show on the weekend around coins that you shouldn't have in your portfolio. It's going to be amazing. I'll see you guys then. Look out for it. It's either going to be on Banter or Banter Plus. And if you're not already subscribed to Banter Plus, what are you waiting for? If you're not subscribed, you can't win the banter bags. You're not going to be able to win the banter bags. And you need to be able to win the banter bags because that's the only way that you can win up to $1 million. So subscribe to Banter, subscribe to Banter Plus, get an exchange account, and subscribe to In the Game as well. Go and subscribe to 𝗏𝗡𝗡's channel In the Game. That's where we have gaming content all the time. I will see you guys again on the weekend with all the coins that you shouldn't have in your portfolio. Until then, trade well, my friends.